Hi everybody.
Welcome to our vlog.
It's been a couple of months. We haven't filmed anything, but we were touring and super tired.
And sometimes the problem is not that we cannot make the videos, it's just sometimes we have good internet and sometimes we do not. So
sorry, but we're back.
So we're back anyway. So there is a lot of things that we could talk about, but we're going to go one of our requests that we have from some people that they want us to talk about our performances, like meaning like a specific video, a specific song, and I don't know. To start the year, we'll see. We'll start with that, see what happens. But in general, we have this year a lot of new things that are happening, new places that we're gonna be visiting, so we have to stay in touch. And where else, Sara?
Nothing.
And we're here with Jesse. We're at home. He's happy that we're home. So one of the things with our performances, what can we say, is that for like you guys know. We like to do choreographies, we like to improvise, we like to do several different things. We try to show variedad. I can't say that word. Mostly because each song for us is different and we like to show different things. For a long time, we understand some people, they don't appreciate choreographies. And it's just because they don't understand them, they never done that. They haven't done one. And funny enough, many people, they do choreography, it's just they make it look like it's an improvisation. And for us, when we used to have choreographies, for us a choreography have to look like a choreography. So over the years that have been changing a little bit. We've been really busy and with really little time to work on ourselves, on trying to build new songs and stuff. So lately we can say for the past, what, Sara, like
a couple of years,
2-3 years, we have only choreographed milongas. All the other songs, pretty much they've been full improvisation, including our Pugliese, that's what I'm going for. Okay, so let's watch our Pugliese. We're gonna put it here on the TV so you guys can see a little bit, and we'll talk about it right behind it as we watch.
Okay, so this is sort of interesting what just happened now. The whole mood of the song is really kind of heavy, and the idea wasn't to get people to laugh. And so my moment, or like my thinking when I was going into it, I was really just feeling the music, and I was feeling sad, and I was trying to feel the whole idea of the goodbye, because this is what the song is about. And I think Ivan had a different sensation. So I think maybe Ivan had a different idea.
Yeah, just like I don't know. I wasn't right away on the mood like Sara was, and I saw her like really into it. I wasn't so into it until I really get to embrace her, and I just did the side step to kind of like get control, and then I knew a strong beat was coming. So what I did, that's why people laugh. It's like my ¿cómo se dice mi pañuelo?
His little napkin or whatever that is.
Yeah, I felt it was a little bit out, so then I just put it in right as the music goes, so people laugh because it was a cute thing. And there again, we had different energies. We were in completely two different moods.
I mean, you kind of break up the mood that way, right?
Yes.
But the Pugliese is such a powerful song, and you really want to build like an ambiance that those kinds of things can be disruptive, but
yeah,
I don't know.
But
I think it just sort of broke the ice, maybe.
Yes.
In a good way.
In a way, that's my job in the couple, I think.
That's not true at all. That's so wrong. That's not true at all. The one to break the ice is always me.
Come
Oh
on,
my
but
God.
I always have to do something for whatever reason, and people
Okay,
are laughing,
let's keep
so-
going. All right, so that's just the beginning.
Okay, see you next. By the way, the floor is really slippery for us, so we really have to hold on to everything. Okay, so what happened with this second section?
So it's not just the second section, so the first section, the way that we use the music rhythmically is kind of also specific, because there are different ways you can use the rhythm. You can sort of have the leader do really simple rhythm, meaning let's say 1, 3, 1, 3, and then the follower will embellish 1, 2, 3, or 1 and 2 and, with boleos or with weight shifts or whatever. And that way of using the rhythm is a little bit static. I mean, you're still moving, but a big part of what is rhythmic or what is showing the timing or the places in the music that are significant is happening only by embellishment, meaning that one person is deciding this. But for us, what Ivan is doing is he's actually leading me to accelerate, let's say in the turn, to hit 1, 2, 3, because then, for example, he's going to hit 4 and then he leads me to hit 1 again, like a big 1. Like basically we're moving together in the lead and follow to mark the musical timings, as opposed to him giving me the space to embellish the musical timings myself. I mean, we also use embellishments as well, but we dance a lot in this way, where actually our musicality is a joint musicality, where we're doing it through lead and follow, as opposed to merely doing it by embellishing.
Can I say it in a different way?
Yeah, try.
I think what you mean, Sara, is like we use the rhythmical things in movement, and other people use it more to embellish. We don't embellish as much. Yes, in place. For us, we use those rhythm. If you do 1, 2, 3 or whatever, people will do 1, 2, 3 in place, either to give the space for the follower to do the adornment or for themselves to do it. And what we do, we actually move with it together.
Yeah, that's one part of it. But the other part of it is that you can emphasize the rhythm by sort of two people separately at the same time, marking different parts of it to make a complete whole. So you have your idea of what you want to emphasize, I have my idea of what I want to emphasize, and we just do it together. And then it just happens to be that we're hitting different parts and we're showing some type of musicality, some type of musical understanding, right? Okay. That's one way to do it. But I don't think we do that a lot. I think a lot of what we do is almost like we have 4 legs, or like we have one body and 4 legs. And those 4 legs are united in the way that they're marking rhythm. So whenever like you lead me to do certain parts of the rhythm, knowing that you will take other parts of the rhythm. So it's almost like using 4 legs instead of 2 legs separately. Okay. Is that clear?
That's more clear.
I really hope that's clear. Okay, anyway.
Let's see the next one.
Next one. So this is the part with the music that I was talking about. Okay, so there, for example, when Ivan starts taking the back step and I'm going forward, you can see that there's a point at which we separate a lot. Like, we separate a little bit more.
Can you rewind it?
I can rewind it. I'm going to play that same part all over again.
Now, here. That one.
So as you can see, Ivan is already moving back. And I'm still in the position sort of back also. And so I'm letting my upper body go forward towards him so that we're not pulling each other. But there, for example, we had a different idea of how we wanted to continue that. And
it looked like you wanted to add an adornment or to go somewhere else.
Yes.
Like, I mean, she wanted to do something else for sure. She wanted to adorn, but I didn't read that. And I started going back. So that's why the separation happens.
Yeah, I mean, it's it happened just for a second and you don't really, it's not so hugely noticeable. But for us, it's really, really noticeable because we move so much together. Something like this would feel like an error, like a really big error. And it's just what happens though when you're improvising, you know. Ivan can't read my mind that I want to do an embellishment there. And if I'm not clear enough, early enough, and if he really wants to hit something musically, it's normal that this can happen.
Okay, continue. Fua. Okay.
Okay, so in this part of the song, the voice is starting. And when the voice is starting, you can notice that we actually really slow down.
Yeah, every time for us, that's why we like Pugliese. Pugliese have the really strong rhythmic underneath, and sometimes it's the most predominant. Can you say that? Mm-hmm. But we like that it's with Maciel or with the voice because the voice makes things softer. So whenever you hear the voice, we will try to go mostly with the voice than anything else.
Especially here, because here the voice is really the dominant part of the music, and it has a certain quality, and that quality is not aggressive. It's sort of a peaceful quality, and that's the point at which we're slowing down. And then when we start to move a little bit more...
that's the strongest rhythmic part, for me at least.
That's when the rhythm starts to go stronger, so...
So this is the voice.
So if the movement is pretty gentle.
And more aggressive.
Really strong rhythms. So here the voice is again strong.
And the voice again.
So in this part that passed, the part where we're doing the turn with the sacadas, where the voice is strong, the turns work really well there because the stepping is still done on the beat. So we're still respecting the rhythm because we're stepping on the beat. But turning has a floating quality. It has a melodic quality. So using a turn in this kind of a situation is nice because you are showing both that you understand where the rhythm is and at the same time that you understand that the voice has a melodic quality and that you want to respect both.
Even though for my liking, that part is a little bit not as good with the music on the sense that we have some, I led her to a back bolero and a forward bolero, which the beat is there, but it's not as strong. So
yeah, some of our movement is actually stronger than what the voice is.
Yes, it still matches the music because we're still going nice and smooth on the turn, but the two boleros will be unnecessary in that moment for me, for my, like in the moment that happens. That's why it's part of the improvisation. But
yeah, and also in that situation, for example, if you're doing sacadas or if you're stepping, you have to be careful that your stepping is not too strong, that it's not too, the landings are not too obvious. The landings should be really, really soft to make it seem a little bit more melodic and smooth.
Let's see what's next. Trying to go with the boys, and then again, boom. That's when we hit the rhythmic part. I really like this one. And stop it there. Okay, so why do I like that part? For me, because we still using a movement that actually, this is what we like about how we work in terms of the technique. There are some movements that naturally they have, like, you know, you should, let's say they have like a dynamic, a particular dynamic. Like this, normally we go for something a little more strong, right? But I choose to do it, and I choose to change the quality of the movement and not to do as strong and make it a little more delicate, if I must say. Alright, stop it there. Okay.
Okay, so what we're doing here is we're showing how the intensity in the music increases, and we're doing it by using a step that's more complex, more intense, that requires more energy, so you can actually see more energy in our movement in our bodies, and that there is a variety of movements. So we have movement that goes around, we have movement where we're individually moving the body, we have my leg kick that goes up. So we're sort of showing the increase in intensity in the music with the increase in intensity of our movement.
And again, I know it might look like, oh, this looks like a part and a choreography that we know, and all the movements are led, like from the beginning of the movement into when we create the soltada, which she turns by herself, which I lead, and into the turn, and then creating the ganchos that, I mean, it is hard, but I'm saying it's no, like, how can I say?
Yeah, it's not impossible.
Yes.
And it also, you have to remember, we have been dancing for a long time together, so we perceive music in a similar way already together. And so when I feel that the intensity of this music is going, I can feel his preparation, I feel the energy in his body, and I know that whatever we're going to do is going to be more energetic and it's going to be more complex. So we're both sort of ready for what's coming next. Not in the sense that we know what's going to happen, or I know what's going to happen, but in the sense that I'm prepared for something intense.
Yes. So let's see next, because now here the music changes. Okay, here Sara was embellishing there. Alright, let's stop that. Can you rewind that a little bit? If you really guys really pay attention to it, you can actually see how I'm actually leading Sara from here. Once she steps forward, I grab her with both hands and then I turn her into the next step. From here, stop. There. Can you rewind a tiny bit more? I even make it super obvious when I'm transferring your way there. Once I turn you around, so then I can actually lead you to step forward here.
Sorry, hold on. It's loading.
Yes.
Sorry, guys. It's hard to fine tune this finger control.
I can even see your face there. You're like, what should I do now?
No, I don't have that face.
It's here. I change it, and now I change your way there, which I'm changing my way at the same time, so it helps. And this is not really hard. Then I take you out, and I bring you. With this, I mean, yes, it is a complex thing, but it's really, if you think about it, it's how you create a colgada. If I would be with embrace, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just to make it looks cooler or even harder. I mean, it is hard because if the position of her body is not correct, it's not on the correct angle, then I wouldn't be able to do that. But if you think about it, just picture on that moment of the colgada, my left hand and her right hand in the embrace, and you'll see that it's just like a normal colgada.
I mean, it really, the feeling for me is that he sends me forward, and what he wants to do is he wants to turn me back towards him. But instead of turning me back towards him,
and keep walking around.
He catches me, takes me off axis, and keeps walking around. So it's not that we've never done this before. Obviously, we have, but
yes.
It's not a part of a choreography that involves anything else. So for us there, any number of steps can happen before, or we can exit in any type of a way. So yes, we've done the movement, but it's not a part of a larger whole.
Let's go. Actually, here is a mistake there. It didn't meant to go that way. Boom. Stop it there.
Okay, so that whole part where the voice again increases in intensity.
So it feels like it's attacking the song a little bit.
It's attacking the song. The sensation of these staccatas is also like they're an attack. We don't actually, you guys don't see, it's hard to tell how much space there is, but sort of how the floor is. The floor is super, super slippery.
Yeah.
So the attack sensation is more than what we're doing, but we also have like a little bit of a space reduction. The sensation of the strength of the attack is more strong if we have a little bit more displacement, but unfortunately we can't displace so much, again, because of how much space we have. So every time you're looking at a performance, you have to keep in mind that what people are dealing with, they're not only dealing with dancing, they're dealing with how the floor is, they're dealing where the lights are, they're dealing with the space that they have, where people are sitting, if the shape of the space is uneven. So the leaders who are leading in these performances, they have to pay attention to all of this. So for this attack, for example, it would have been much more effective if
in a
diagonal, if Ivan could really have displaced. But unfortunately, there's no room. So it's powerful.
What do you mean there is no room?
There's no room to keep on moving in a diagonal forward because there's people right there. So had we taken that
No, really actually I'm sorry, I disagree with that. Oh. There is a lot of room. I cannot move bigger. I'm sliding. I can't.
Okay, so you're sliding.
It's not a question. Look at all the space we have here.
Yeah,
you can
I thought
see
we started
here.
in the middle.
No, we started all the way in the corner and I have it all the way to move there. I just don't have the grip enough to be able to move.
Okay, so there it is. It's the grip. So it's always interesting. You have to understand, when you're looking at something, you have to sort of understand what people are doing and take it really try to understand what they're doing, not just say, oh, it's like this or like that. Really look at it. Really look at what they're doing. The Ivan's legs are so powerful in that piece. So even if we're not displacing so much, the aggressive sort of forward movement you can see in how much his feet are going up.
That is what I think also for people would say that is they could think that is choreography because the intensity of our movement, of how we move, how much we really use the floor, we really push, it could be a little more stagey, obviously, but it's also have to do with the song. If the song is asking you for something stronger and then you don't match the song, then the song is eating you in a way, like the song is stronger than you. So the idea is that you try to match the level of energy that the music is giving you. Yeah. So that's what we try to do.
And sometimes that's actually really hard, especially when the song goes lower, when it becomes softer. It's, for us at least, or at least for me, it's much easier to go higher or put more energy in than soften up completely, because I'm so excited, there's so much energy in my body that the soft parts, I feel like I'm soft, but actually sometimes for what the song is, it's like not enough.
Okay, so let's go for what's next, which is finishing. Thank God they stop her on time. If you know, we keep walking. Even though, the final was good, and that's lettable. That's just separada, a little bit faster, and the only difference that I keep going down. So, if you understand about different directions, this is not really that hard. But what I wanted to say, we were actually a tiny bit late. I knew that was coming like the chan, the finish there, but it still matched because it matched our turn. It just didn't match the going down. Even though it still is good because sometimes sound and how do you say,
the visual
and the visual they're always a little bit off always happens. So on the end it still works. Yeah. Now that I see it, seems like I'm a tiny bit behind. Live you cannot tell.
And it's nice because what is the meaning of the song? So the song is called El Adios, or the goodbye. And at the end of the song, we separate, but we can't say goodbye to each other. So we come back together at the end.
Again, that's Sara's story, on her story. Because this is the thing, when we start to separate with all of these things, you kind of have to, inspire yourself in a story on the sense, what the song is giving you. In the case, es el adios. For her, she thought about it literally what does it means, and so then they give her the emotion or the idea of what she can do. For me, I'm paying attention to so many other things that even if it's called El Adios, that was not my intention at all. I knew that when she will separate from me, she will come back to me at some point. And then I just keep following her, and then I can, until we run into people, I stop her right before, which is good with music, and then just to create a final. And it just works out that she was on the correct leg for me to bring into a parada and then just go down. So
yeah. Okay. Anyway, so hopefully we gave you a little bit of a feeling for what is happening when we're improvising and performing. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. I mean, there's so much emotion, there's so much energy. Personally, for me, I really prefer performing in smaller settings where people are closer to me. I really like performances in festivals and in milongas because I enjoy the energy of the people that are close to me. I have a hard time in a theater because I feel like it's like a very lonely, like the stage is very lonely. And I think for Ivan, it's kind of the other way around.
We're on the opposite there. For me, it's actually harder when people are so close to me because I feel more exposed. In a sense that it seems like I'm not a shy person, but I think I am. I guess I don't know. And that's why sometimes I like to joke around because it helps me to kind of break out the ice. Not that I get super nervous or anything. I've been performing since I'm 12, but I like better the sensation of the stage because in the stage in a theater you're by yourself. Like, okay, yes, with your partner, whatever, but it literally feels that you are completely alone and the music. Yeah. So it's a really different feeling. I know
he enjoys it more.
I enjoy it way more. But what I like about the festivals or the milonga, whatever, that you can interact with people a little bit more. People that are a little closer to you. So even though sometimes I make some jokes or things like that, that kind of helps for the interaction. And it's almost like you bring them in your performance. You don't put yourself out there, far away from them. But they're just different things.
There's also something else that's interesting that somebody pointed out, that there is improvisation and then there's creation and then there's choreography, and those things are different. So creation is making up steps as you go. Improvisation is using patterns that you've already practiced.
That you already have.
And many people dance this way. They call that improvisation. And then there's a choreography, which is actually choreographing the whole piece exactly, precisely with the music from the beginning to the end. So there's a lot of in-betweens. And it's so beautiful. There's so many options.
Yeah. Anyways, let's wrap it up. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see. Let us know what else you want to talk about. And we have some ideas, obviously, but it will help if you guys help us too. Yes.
Interact.
So anyways, see you guys. Thank you.